How's it going? I'm back once again with some more comic reviews for this week. Hope y'all have had an awesome weekend. I have myself, and without further ado, let's get down into this little shindig, shall we? Got 6 books, and I'm going to start off with a DC, and one which I took a chance with. Now, this is a tie-in to the Night of the Owl story arc, but I was kind of curious, or story event, whatever the hell you want to call it, crossover, hey, it's something. But I decided to take a chance with Nightwing. This week I picked up the 8th issue, actually enjoyed it quite a bit, which led me to issue 9. Now, I'm probably not going to be reading this series anything further after this event is over with, but I've been fairly impressed for a tie-in going along with this event. Back in the first six issues in the Court of Owls story arc of Batman, Batman was mostly dealing with the William Cobb talisman, getting his ass handed to him, and turned around and whooped William Cobb's ass. Well, now Cobb is back out, and he's going after his great-grandson, Dick Grayson. The last issue of this series actually filled in a little bit of the history on what William Cobb's life was like before he became a Talon in the Court of Owls. And we get a little more back history on this, and a little bit of the lineage of the Grayson family in this issue. Present time, you know, Dick is still getting his ass handed to him by this Talon, and the Talon would do very well to just beat him as he is, but he makes the biggest mistake any villain can in the course of beating a hero and almost coming this close to beating. He monologues, and in that time that monologues, Dick is able to pull a plan up to take care of the Talon. Has a very interesting way of going about putting him back on ice, which I found pretty good, and the back history in this as well is really good. I've actually been enjoying the history of 18th or 19th century Gotham more than I have the present day story that's going on here. We have Kyle Higgins, who is doing the writing on this book. Not really familiar with him, but I've been fairly impressed by what I've seen. And Eddie Barrow's art is just terrific in this issue. And we finally also get the origin of the Grayson name in here, which is kind of interesting, too. It's good stuff. There's really not more that I can say for it. A damn good tie-in to the Night of the Owl story that's going on. If you are not reading this, I actually would recommend it. As I said, I can't guarantee that I'll be sticking with the series once this event is over with, but I am very satisfied with what Higgins is doing thus far with his book. Moving along to Marvel now. Let's take a trip back to a comic which I've been neglecting. I'm sorry, but I just didn't get around to reviewing. I'm going to talk about X Factor, issue 236. Before I get into the story, let me just say that's a very nice cover, harkening back to the times of the late 80s, early 90s, when you would see the characters' faces put just above the issue number. Very nice job to whoever drew this cover. But, as always, Peter David is writing, and Leonard Kirk is doing the art in here. Basically, we got this serial killer who calls himself Scattershot, has been going around and killing some wannabe heroes who have been gathered up in their dungeon, kind of like a bunch of boys who used to play D&D back in the day. And somebody's been systematically killing them off. Well, in the course of the story, Madrox and Shatterstar go out to pose as 2 wannabe heroes and try and see who this is that's killing everybody. There's not really too much that I'm going to give away about the course of this issue. I'm going to say that this guy is representing an old-school X-Men villain. And David, as always, just does a terrific job with the series. There's not really much more I can give away on it than that. Terrific series, still enjoying it. It's one of the most solid things coming out of Marvel. Speaking of solid things, another book which is continuing to do miles above a lot of other things is Daredevil, number 13 by Mr. Mark Waid. Back again, we are starting off with a story called Hell Knight, which is shit starting to hit the fan for Matt. He's got the Fantastic Four disc, which has all of the information on the 5 mega crime organizations, and everybody is just racing out there to get their hands on it. And Matt is just starting to have a hell of a time on his hands. This issue is really good. I love the fact that we continue to see a superhero who is using common sense, using his powers to his benefit, and Wade has certainly done a good job of making this title better. Daredevil, when it was in the past, you know, before that little Shadowland fiasco, was a terrific title. But he's managed to take this book and go so many miles above what was going on with the previous installment of the title, where Matt's life was just kind of going down the toilet. The guy needed a break, but, you know, now he's got to get back down to business, and, you know, we're wondering, how's old boy going to manage to stay on the sunny side of life with everything that's going on with him and the mega crime groups? Still a pretty solid issue. Definitely recommend this. It's terrific, bar none. It's just great. Now, while somebody's life is getting better, let's look at somebody else's life who's going down the shitter. Poor Flash Thompson over in Venom number 17 continues to be pretty good. We're starting a new story arc off in this, and we have the start of the Savage Six, sort of a darkened, more darkened version of the Sinister Six, and they don't hold anything back with this issue. Flash has got his hands full in many ways. He's trying to save Betty at the same time that she's trying to get away from him because his crazy son of a bitch messed with her earlier, back in issue 4, and she's really scared of him. And Jack-O-Lantern and a couple of the other bad guys from the group break out and make their presence known to Flash. And while all this is going on, Crime Master is, you know, getting ready to do something big. And bottom line is, Flash is just, you know, he's going through so much with this issue, and the tail end of the issue is kind of predictable. I was wondering when this was going to happen, what does take place in the final panel of this issue, but I'm gonna leave the next issue looking very, very interesting. And I'm also wondering what the tone of the series is going to go to now, because I've heard that Remender is stepping off the book after this story arc. Cullen Bunn is co-writing this, and both of them are doing a terrific job, and I'll give Bunn a fair shot. But, you know, with this being possibly the last story that Remender is doing on this book, I'm going to hate to see him go. He really did some good stuff with this. So, hopefully, with his send-off, we'll get a bang going with this series. Now let's jump along to something that is pretty much satisfactory. That's really all I can say about it. It doesn't do anything great, but it still does manage to satisfy the reader for what he pays for this issue. Mr. Matt Fraction on Invincible Iron Man number 517. Tony is in part 2 of Long Way Down, and the cover pretty much establishes what he's going through right now. Kiss the Bleeding Edge, Tech, goodbye. He's really got his hands full with trying to get a hand up on the Mandarin, and the Mandarin's trying to do the same thing with getting a hand up on him. What's her name? Justine Hammer and General Babbage are on hand to make sure that Tony is fully getting rid of the armor in all it's worth, and said, okay, now I've done my part, now you take the stupid thing out of the arc reactor on my chest. And while all that's going on, Ezekiel Stane is trying to also get a hand up on his father-in-law, too. Each of the villains that are working for the Mandarin have the bomb planted inside them, and Ezekiel is just trying to reach out, going through that threshold of pain to find this bomb and get rid of it, so he's going to stop being his father-in-law's little bitch. And meanwhile, this is going on too. The matter of the mole is taken care of in this book. We had last issue revealed that it was Spy Master who had actually infiltrated the group as somebody close to Tony within Stark Resilient. And they do a pretty good job of finally defeating this guy. But it's going to be interesting to see where this is going, because War Machine shows up in here with the most interesting upgrade, I will say, to close out the final panel of this book. This is pretty satisfactory, as I said. I don't mind paying $4 for a book that is managing to satisfy me, unlike some other things which I have been reading, like Uncanny and Justice League, which give you crap for the $4 that you put out for it. But Fraction is doing pretty well with this as well, so hopefully we'll be seeing some interesting things. I'm not really going to see Tony and the Mandarin going one-on-one anytime soon. Probably not until Iron Man 3 makes its way out next summer. But, you know, Fraction still manages to do one good job on this book, so I'm happy. And finally, let's close out my little reviews with Avengers vs. X-Men number 4. A vast improvement over the first 3 issues, which are, you know, still doing the Avengers vs. X-Men thing. Fuck the VS side books that they have, where you get to break in on particular Avengers fighting particular X-Men. I don't care about that crap. I just want a story. Hickman manages to bring things back on course a little bit. Hope rescues Wolverine after he got dropped off by Cap in the Antarctic. And while all that's going on, too, we have other Avengers facing off, and we have the Secret Avengers along with Thor getting ready to face off and try to impede the fiery space chicken's progression onto Earth to get its hands on Hope Summers. Apparently they kind of give away a little bit, though, because obviously what's going on in Secret Avengers with that story, it didn't work. Otherwise, the story would just be stopped right there, and this wouldn't be much of an event after that. But things take a head for the worse, where Hope manages to talk Wolverine into helping her try and meet this thing head on the moon. Well, the Avengers and Cyclops' extinction team show up on the moon as well. And we have some duplicity going on in here, and I'm going to say that it's on Wolverine's part. Now, Mount Vernon Kid may disagree with me on this, but I do have to call things like I see it. We've been giving Cyclops a lot of crap, and I'm not going to lie that he's a crazy dick who's just, you know, lost his mind and is trying to get this Phoenix who may potentially destroy the planet Earth, as it's done many other planets trying to get there. But, you know, when Wolverine pulls dick moves, I will say that he pulls dick moves. And what he did in here is just not cool. You know, it might try and get his hands on Hope again, but I do not like his duplicity in this book. That's the only thing that I hate. So if I'm feeling something for the characters, Hickman manages to do a good job of getting me back and invested in maybe some interesting developments in the story. And the end of this book is really well done, actually. Hickman has managed to bring the series back to some credibility with me, and I'm wondering what Fraction's going to do on the 5th book. But all in all, this is a good issue, much better than the first 3. So hopefully things will get better from here on out, and that pretty much does it for my comic reviews for this week. So until next time, I will catch you guys later, and have a terrific Sunday.